Good morning, Jasmine. How are you? Tired, girl. It's 11 o'clock. Why are you tired? Are you staying up till the crack of dawn? Till 6 a.m.? Why? Power to you. Girl, you are tripping. Nope. Will not catch me doing that. If anyone else is in the room, make sure you comment so I can tell you are here. This is a real quick class today, so don't worry about it. I'm just making sure that you guys are going on the right pace for your paper. How are you, Tamaya? Just putting you in for some attendance. How are you, Natalie? Did you guys start your compare and contrast paper yet? Did any of you start? No? All right. Get to it. Don't hold it off for too long. We only got one more week. Okay. We'll give them 3 more minutes to show up, and then we will get started. Good morning, Tanisha. How are you? I'm glad to hear it. Today, we're going to just go over what I expect for your paper and what I will be using to mark some class participation for this week. Just give them 2 more minutes. Make sure you have a notebook out. That way you can write down the instructions I'm going to give you. That way you can receive the class participation credit for today. One more minute, guys. That's it. I got my hair cut at my house. Girl, I ain't leaving. Nah, Philly barbers are not still open. Not at all. Good morning. My girl's a hairstylist, remember guys? All right. So, we're going to get into it. For those just showing up, hello. Hello, Elise Marie. How are you? Let me get you in for some attendance. All right, guys. What I want you guys to do is actually super simple. All right. Yes, you have your 3-page compare and contrast paper, right? I told you to go out, look for resources, look for articles that you can use or documentaries that you could use to gather your information. It's hot outside? All right. Anyway, but what I would like to see is you in your pre-writing process, okay? Your pre-writing process is doing a compare and contrast, getting your thoughts together to then approach your writing. If you remember when we were going over the chapter packet, we went over a few different ways that you could complete a compare and contrast. First, if you guys remember, we did the Venn diagram. Okay, we have our Venn diagram, right? One side will be Gatsby, one side will be Fitzgerald. All right, you're going to have your two sides. Then you're going to have your commonalities. Common. That's where they overlap. Yeah, write this down just so you know how you should be getting your thoughts together for this. All right. Okay. So you have your common and your different sides if you go with the Venn diagram style. Okay. This is going to be one way you can organize your thoughts. For each thing, they have different and specific to themselves. And the center section, you can number these are the things they have in common, and you can order them in whichever way you see fit, be it from an informational standpoint or if you'd like to do it from your paragraph order standpoint. So, for example, let's say in my different section, I'm going to put Gatsby one, fact one. I'm going to pick fact one instead of paragraph order. That's the way I'm doing it. I'm doing it based on facts. If you'd like to do it in paragraph order, you could just write your facts and then number them afterward. So since I'm doing idea order, what's one of the first things? All right, he's different because he lost his love to another man. All right. So I'm going to zoom this in, right? For example, Gatsby lost his love to another man. Fitzgerald lost his love to tragedy. What was the tragedy? You guys should know this from the documentary. Something with her mind, something with a location. We're going to leave it at that, right? These are the two first things that I could think of, right? But let's say I didn't like this Venn diagram style. Let's say this is too different. I don't feel like drawing a circle in the middle of my paper and taking up all that extra space. What else can I do? All right. We have your T diagram. All right. And with this, you're just going to start writing facts down on either side. All right. And then with this style, it is up to you to pick apart the differences. Okay. So you can do fact 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So I'll start the same way I did before, right? So last time, lost love to another man. He's fictional, right? And I'll give you just one more. So and that's like super common sense with the story, right? He's also a bootlegger, right? Writer slash author, alcoholic, and wife. 2. All right, lost wife to tragedy, right? So here we're getting our facts together. These are clearly, some of them are the same, right? So they both lost their love. The way they lost their love is different, right? Their occupations, a difference. The way they carry themselves are a difference, right? It is up to you at this point, if you do the T-graph style, to understand which ones are your similarities and differences. A great way for you to do that, I like to connect the dots, meaning bootlegger, he is a writer. So those two things go together, and those are with my red line, meaning those are differences. So that's my difference. Okay, move that up a little closer too. There you go. And then similarities. Similarities, right? I'm just going to write one on the board just so we have one. Right? This is a commonality. So what do we do at this point? I use my blue because I'm going to say blue means positive. And right here, so this is something they have in common. I label it. All right? Whichever one you find easier for you, this is just to get your thoughts in order. This is to get your game plan together. When you have a compare and contrast assignment, it's great to have a lot of information, but you want to make sure you are able to compare as well as contrast, right? Here I have the first 3. These are a bunch of differences between these two guys. I guess number 1 on Gatsby and number 3, you could say are somewhat similar, but the outcomes are different, right? So you want to be able to come up with enough information that way you can have a solid comparison of the two gentlemen and a solid contrast of the differences, not of the two differences, but of the differences of the two men. Okay? Organizing your thoughts in these two different ways are what I would like to see from you guys as a pre-writing activity just for class participation. Okay? I know many of you did not start yet, so this will be a great way as you are researching to get your thoughts together, and then you send that to me and I can give you credit for pre-writing on your paper, the pre-writing process. Okay? You have a few resources already. You have the documentary I sent you. You have the book, The Great Gatsby. You have articles all over the internet and maybe even scholarly documentaries about F. Scott Fitzgerald in print form, right? There's information all over. Natalie, I am going over how you should be doing your pre-writing for your compare and contrast paper. Either the Venn diagram, which is the two circles for the compare and contrast, and they compare in the middle, contrast on the outsides. That's going to help you get your thoughts organized in a structured way where you know the outsides are contrast, the inside is the compare section. If you don't like that and you believe that takes up too much space off your paper, or you just don't like that format, you can have your T notes, right? And you can write the comparisons and the contrasts and just line them up so you are familiar with this is what's different, this is what's the same. These are the facts that I'm going to be comparing together in my compare paragraphs, and this is going to be what I'm comparing in my contrast paragraphs. Okay? If you choose to not do either of these and you just write facts and list them on a paper, that's fine. But I need you to be able to let me know what you are comparing this with or contrasting that with. If I don't see that you understand what your comparisons are and what your contrasting differences are, that's going to show me a lack of understanding, and I need to see that understanding so I know you get it. That way, as you continue to write, I know you're going along the right process and doing the right thing for your assignment. Any questions so far on these two things? Last class, did I provide you with your rubric? I did not provide the rubric, is what you're saying no to? All right. So I will provide you with the rubric in in class today. One second. I'm going to attach that to an email and send this to you. All right. You should all be receiving right now a rubric for your compare and contrast assignment. I thought I did the rubric. That's what I thought. All right. So I resent the rubric. Okay, good. You understand what you're talking about. Awesome. So you have the rubric. You have an understanding of what's expected of you when you start typing. Okay. Your pre-writing is important. I want to see that you understand what you're doing before you type up a whole 3 pages and get frustrated if it's not done correctly. Your pre-writing, I would like to see by this coming week. Okay. You have the same timetable for this assignment, May 13th. Okay. But in the first week, you should already have your thoughts together. Okay? Within the first week, if you don't have your thoughts together, you're falling behind. All right? And then you're leaving yourself with less than a week to get your 3-page paper done. I need to see you on your process. Okay? The pre-writing, it doesn't need to be overly long. It can be just enough notes possible to complete this paper on either the Venn diagram or your T-chart. Okay? What that looks like, a solid 8 to 10 facts on either person. Concrete facts. Concrete facts that you can support with information. Support with facts either from the story or from real life. Okay? You need to be able to substantiate and justify the reason you are using this information in your paper. Why did you bring this up? A, B, and C. Okay? Why did you bring up this other fact? A and B. You need to have that support. Don't just bring up information for the sake of bringing up information. Make sure you have those solid supporting details. That way, you're not basing it off of what you think. It should be off of what you know and what you can support with information that was published somewhere else. Hey, Joanna Marie, how are you? Yes, Tanisha. If you look at the video from last class, Tanisha, you will see the rubric. I went over the rubric, what I expect, what it would look like for when you start writing your paper. Natalie, I already said the pre-writing is just a Venn diagram or this T-chart with about 10 or more facts as long as you can justify them. Okay, as long as you can support these facts. Do you understand? Either in the T-chart or in the Venn diagram. If you don't understand, let me know, and I'll try to break it down even simpler. The questions you asked earlier, let's see what you asked. What did I miss? I already told you. Just the Venn diagram and this T-chart. If you, after the class, go back and watch the video, you'll be able to see everything. That way, you don't feel like you missed any specific details another classmate was given. You'll be able to have everything. Just wait till the end of class, and that video will be available to you. I think that was the only 2 questions you asked. If you asked another question, I didn't receive it. It's not in the chat. Do you have a further question? All right, it's all good. All right, so this is going to be your organization. And I'm going to just write this in red so it sticks out. All right. Minimum of 10 concrete facts each. All right. That way, if you can compare 10 things here, that means you should be able to compare those 10 things on this side. If you can compare 10, if you can contrast 10 things, you can do that as well. All right. Here we go. I'll write this here. Don't forget to support. I don't even need to write that there. Don't forget to support your facts. Yes, the Venn diagram or your T chart is going to be due by next week. That way, I see you are at least working towards completing your paper. Okay? I don't want it to be that a day before the paper is due is when you're starting writing your assignment. Okay? This is going to be due by next week. Yes, you can do the Venn diagram on paper or the T chart on paper. That's exactly what I'm saying. Just take a photo of it. Make sure the facts that you have on there are credible. They are solid facts that you can support. Okay? If it's something that you feel after writing it down in your paper, you have to go look up further information for to fully understand, you didn't do it right. You should be putting all the supporting information in there. That way, there is no confusion. And that way, even you as the writer understand what you're saying. And you can say, oh, this means this. Not that, oh, let me go look at my notes. Okay? The whole point of an essay is to make sure the reader understands what you are trying to say from beginning to end. And this will help you do that. You can even do the T chart on paper as well. If you want to do it on Google Doc and you know how to do that, that's totally fine. All right? I do not have a problem with that. I just want to make sure that you get it done and you understand. Are there any other questions? All right. Everyone, comment your name in the chat to show you are present today and that you are present currently. Okay? All you have to do is get to working on that. It is due on Wednesday. This pre-writing is due on Wednesday. That gives you 5 days to get all your information gathered. Okay? 5 days. Okay? Then your rough draft is due May 13th, if you remember that from last class. Okay? Rough draft is due May 13th. Pre-writing is due this Wednesday. This Wednesday is May 6th, the day after Cinco de Mayo. Okay? Any other questions? If not, you are good for the day. Get to working and use this time to your benefit. You have an extra 30 minutes in my class. That's 30 minutes you can be using to look up information to get you started. All right? Use this time wisely. I know it feels like you have a bunch of free time. If you get this done and you get it out of the way, you'll have a ton of extra free time. All right? So, love you guys. Be safe. This is what I expect from you guys. And I'll talk to you this coming Wednesday.